Hello everyone! Today we are reading Jisatsu no tame no 101 no houhou, and I think this was part 3 or part 4, so let's continue reading. The word, the word, the word. Everything is the word. Yet, what is the word? By what means can the word be defined? The word can be defined by what means? By what word can the means be defined? Can be defined by what means the word. Defined by what word can be the means. A hazy mist hangs faintly over my mind. Gelatinized tubes sluggishly crawl, dripping down my skull. Can a stake be driven into this endless chaos? Is it possible to drive in a stake as a fixed point? For example, what might that be? For someone like me, who can no longer find certainty into what is left for me. For example, could it be action? Or could it be something else? Something else? To live or to die, it no longer seems to be the key to deciding human happiness or unhappiness. The dead are made complete, and the living stand on the deck of a departing ship, pressing their hands together in farewell. The ship quietly slips away from the pier. Death is a good thing. A distant scene. A line of rope tied to the flagpole. And from the top, a silhouette fell from it like a leaf. It looked like a simple, unremarkable sight. Like something out of a silent movie. Then with a grinding noise, a section of Takuji's grey ward slid away, and something new appeared in its place. Good morning! Everyone in the class turned toward the sound. It's like when you get so late and everyone just stares at you and you feel like very scared. Did anyone happen this to? Like when you go to the class so late and then everyone just looks at you emotionless. That's so scary. There stood Shunichi Mido. Mido met the stares of the entire class with dark, aggressive eyes, glaring back at them in defiance. His fair gaze bored into them, forcing most to quickly avert their eyes. No one in the class was unfamiliar with the rumors about Mido. Rumors painted in violence. Lately, even words like drugs and how can I change the word? Bad work had begun to mix into these stories about him. And in Mido's eyes, there was enough conviction to make it feel like these were not just baseless rumors. Just barely made it in time, right, Sensei? Mido laughed as he stepped toward the classroom. But Kinjo Sensei's sharp voice stopped him cold. How nice for you. Fourth period is already over, you know? Ah. I have no objections if you want to let yourself fall behind. But I ask that you refrain from causing trouble for others, please. What did you say? Please leave the classroom, Mido-kun. As far as my class is concerned, I do not permit attendance part way through. Please leave. Leave. The air in the classroom tightened solid. Everyone in the class held their breath, watching the situation unfold. In the suffocating silence, there was a palpable sense of the violence about to erupt, a mix of fear and morbid anticipation swirling in the atmosphere. Finally, Mido broke the tension with a slight grin. Wait, do you guys hear me? Because the last time I did Subahibi, like my voice was very quiet, but I hope you guys can hear me this time. Sensei, you live alone in Hinata Hill, don't you? I know your address. Second floor, right? A ladder's all it takes to climb up to a second floor balcony. In glass, a single piece of jagged tape, and you can break it clean without a sound, you know? But who is that? Why does he know that? A woman living alone, dangers everywhere. You know, gotta be careful. Slap. The sharp crack echoed through the classroom. It was at the sound of Kinjo-sensei mercilessly slapping Mido across the face. The sheer audacity of the slap even left Mido momentarily unable to process what happened. A stunned expression remained fixed on his face like a mask, but it soon gave way to an explosion of humiliation and rage. You bitch. As if on cue, the end of class bell rang out. Caught off guard at the very moment of his outburst, Mido paused for a moment before sneering with a hand. What a boring woman. That's all for today. Class dismissed. Just so you know, what I said earlier wasn't a threat, Sensei. Do as you please. With those words, Kinjo-sensei broke eye contact with Mido as if nothing had happened. She left the classroom without haste, her demeanor perfectly composed. Mido too grabbed his bag and threw it onto his desk before leaving the room. Yet it was hard to miss that his bravado was little more than a facade. The victor was obvious. Before long, the classroom erupted with voices of excitement and admiration. Kinjo is amazing! So cool! Mido's not at all that tough, huh? Man, I really admire teachers like her. Smart and bold, she's got it all. Ah, I wish I could be hugged by her. Amidst the ruckus, Takuji sat alone, trembling with a fury that welled up from deep inside him. Anger? Snapping back to reality, Takuji tried to understand why he was so overcome with rage, but the answer eluded him. After some time, it finally dawned on him. He was jealous. Everyone was having fun, some place he was not a part of, while he remained an outsider. Alienation. He was jealous of that. Feeling utterly pathetic, Takuji thought, maybe I should just die. Consumed by overwhelming self-loathing, Takuji contemplated death. Routine work. Lunchtime. Why did I say it so in a happy way? Why did Kanatsuki Shiro interfere with me? Was Kanatsuki Shiro the girl with green hair? With pigtails? I don't remember much. Takuji could not shake the two from his mind no matter how hard he tried. Takuji walked through the bustling, noisy atmosphere as though he were swimming. Maybe I should lower the sound effects. Yeah. His destination was Kanatsuki Shiro's classroom, 3D. Here's what we'll do. Besides this place, you and I will be nothing more than strangers. We won't interfere with each other's words or take an interest in them. Each other's words. Ha ha ha. Outside of our world, we will be strangers. By doing that, our world will become all the more genuine. What do you think? The first time Takuji and Kanna met was at an abandoned industrial housing complex. Past 2 a.m., during one of his usual nocturnal wanderings, Takuji had wandered aimlessly into the industrial housing area. Two 12 apartment blocks, which had once housed more than 100 families, had been abandoned for years due to a string of factory closures and structural decay. Okay, so we have options. Well, I don't know which one, so I just go left, maybe. The ruined masses of reinforced concrete easily evoked images of tombstones, and perhaps inevitably rumors of ghosts began to circulate. After being featured on TV as a rumored hunting hotspot, curious thrill seekers had briefly flocked into it. But a few years ago, fences of chain link metal were erected around the housing lots, turning the site as a place of complete silence. Let's continue going on left. The fences, however, were only about 2 meters tall, so it was not impossible to climb over them. In fact, Takuji managed to climb over them with ease, so the fences did not physically prevent intruders from entering. Wait, are we at school or is it a backstory? What the fences added to the ruins were not physical security. It was a sense of closure, something almost spiritual. Even though climbing over was easy, the fences impressed upon intruders that this was an isolated special place, cut off from the outside world. Viewer, this place isn't normal, it's different. The sight of these ever-present warnings on the edges of their vision overwhelmed intruders with an indescribable unease, driving them to abandon the site for easier thrills elsewhere. It's no joke. These words left behind by past visitors, built upon the legends. Go left. Over time, the years, rain, and natural decay stained the chain link fences red-brown with rust, further shrouding the place in an air of grim desolation. The apartment walls grew blotched with stains, and illegally dumped trash began to pile up randomly across the grounds. A heavy, palpable sense of dread lingered in the area, so thick it felt touchable, to the point where even visiting for fun seemed utterly out of the question. We will continue to go left. I don't think it has much meanings. Well, we will see. For Takuji, however, that ghost story-like atmosphere was not frightening in the slightest. He knew the world held far more terrifying things than that the shadow of pale child peering out from a shattered window, or the faces of the dead plastered across the walls of the housing complex. He did not need to summon malevolent spirits to experience fear. Within Takuji lay an overabundance of his own darkness. Compared to facing a colorless feature that will likely stretch on for decades, ghosts seemed like manageable childish fears. Still, he had not expected to encounter anyone at 2 a.m. Tud. Drawn by the sound, Takuji made his way to the center of the housing complex, where he found several white lamps scattered on the asphalt. Some of them twitched faintly on the ground. They were white plastic bags from the supermarket. Oh my god, wait, I know what is it. Oh, I think I know it. Thud. A scream echoed from within one of the bags. Yeah! Looking up, Takuji saw a woman's face peeking out from a window on the top floor. In her hand, she held another white plastic bag, ready to be dropped. That was how Takuji and Kanna first met. Oh yeah, I recently read this, and I don't think I already made the video about this part. I hope not, because if not, it means that I'm making the same video again. But I don't think I already read this part. Takuji peeked into Kana's classroom. Contrary to his expectations, their eyes met immediately. As if she had waiting for him, Kana Tsukishiro stared intently at the classroom entrance. Propping her chin on her hand, she gazed down the hallway. I've been waiting. That is how it seemed. Takuji gave her a small nod. Kanna also nodded slightly in return, then smoothly got up from her seat and walked into the hallway. As they passed each other, as she murmured softly, "At the rooftop." Without waiting for a reply, Kanna quickly walked down the hallway. The rooftop. Bang, bang, bang. The faint sound of a rifle echoed. Of course, there was no rifle to be found here. It was nothing more than the noise coming from Kanna's curious lips, making gunshots. Bang, bang, bang. Through the scope of her imaginary rifle, Kanna's slits were trained perfectly on the face of a male student. He was wandering aimlessly through the country yard, a clueless boy with a face full of acne. Yet his brows were meticulously groomed, an air of mismatched self-importance about him. He had even bleached his hair, pretending to be some sort of handsome guy. Bang! The boy's head shattered like a watermelon. I know that this story is like a bit crazy, but like seeing this, I think these people, these students doing this is so like I already know that Takuji, I think it was the main character's name. He's kinda, kinda a weird kid, but I feel like Kanna is like more weirder. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing though. Maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know. Well, because I know what Kanna was doing with the plastic bags, so I think like she's a good person. Kanna slid the bolt of her imaginary rifle, targeting a female student next. Like I don't think that is okay to do, even if it's imaginary. Bang! The bullet blew off her right leg. As she collapsed, her right arm, left arm, and left leg followed in turn. Bang, bang, bang. Each shot landing precisely. In Kanna's scope, the female student convulsed. Her terrified eyes darted around, trying to pinpoint the invisible form of death that had suddenly descended upon her. Pointless. Bang. Kanna turned around and aimed the barrel at Takuji. Here's a quiz. 1971. What was the name of the murderer who fired a rifle from the rooftop of the University of Texas? You have 10 seconds. Bang. You're dead. Takuji ignored her and questioned her instead. Why? Why did you talk to me this morning? We wouldn't interfere with each other's words. Wasn't that the promise? Kanna Tsukishiro wrapped both hands around her neck and gently swept her hair back, burying her slender neck. Stronger me. Oh my god, bro. I'm sorry. I just know that I need to edit this scene out. Tilting her chin upward as if offering a sacrifice, Kanna presented her neck. It was pale and translucent that under the summer sunlight on the rooftop. It seemed like an out-of-place ice sculpture. Cut it out. Strangle me. Answer me. If you strangle me, I will. Strangle me? As requested, Takuji reached out his hands. Encircling her neck, he tightened his grip. Thin. Her neck was slender that his fingers easily overslapped. Within his palms breathed the skin. Deep into the flesh, he could feel it swallow a gulp slipping down her throat. Soon her throat began to spasm slightly. In Kanna's eyes, two emotions warred against each other, fear and ecstasy. Kanna's mouth slowly opened, and from the hollow it formed, the tip of a crimson tongue emerged. The tip of her tongue moved aimlessly through the air, as if tracing some arcane symbols. Takuji began counting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Oh. Oh. Okay. Kanna collapsed onto the concrete, coughing violently. Her ragged breasts were occasionally interrupted by dry hairs and sobs. Tears glistened faintly at the corners of her eyes. Her delicate shoulders rose and fell rapidly. Strands of her hair clung to her sweat-clicked cheeks. Takuji, with a sudden force, threw Kanna down onto the floor. Adulthood echoed, but he paid it no mind as he strangled her. Using her strength, he gathered both Kanna's arms into one hand and pinned them onto the ground, restraining her. Wait. Wait. I think I can read this. The hand that had been moving within her skirt moments before was now smeared with a slick, glistening fluid. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. As Kanna let out a peal-deranged laughter, Takuji slowly presented his body against her. Beneath him, the soft mass of flesh twitched, matching the rhythm of her breathless louds. Ha, ha, ha. The person who had once stuffed stray cats into supermarket plastic bags and hurled them from the fifth floor window of the abandoned block fifth building, Kanatsuki Shiro. Yes, that's right. She put inside of the bags. She put the alive cats, and she like threw them out of the window. Like she is a bad person. Like that's not okay to do. And I love cats, and I'm not okay with that. So I don't think I will like her. When Takuji had asked her why, she had responded with the same kind of manic laughter, and she let out now. Ha ha ha. There's no reason. When I do this, I feel alive. Upon hearing those words and witnessing the difference in her eyes, Takuji immediately understood that this girl was his kindred spirit. He fell headlong into the dark chasm belonging to Kanna Tsukishiro. For example, the bloody website on the internet. Faces with their skin peeled off and eyes bulging grotesquely. Charret's corpse lying in the aftermath of fires. Mold-covered greenish remains. Cursed malformed infants. Human meat displayed in the storefronts. Dogs exploding in countdown videos. Why would you watch that? Why would you watch this? Death. Displayed I like decorations. Displayed like decorations in a window showcase. There were undeniable forms of death, completely alien to Takuji, a being who was still alive. Takuji became enthralled, glued to his computer, greedily consuming the streams of electric waves pouring in from the digital world. Next, Kanna Tsukishiro introduced Takuji to books about bizarre murder cases. They were solid, well researched reports, and also bizarre ones made purely out of curiosity. She showed him books cataloging methods of dying. She recommended yearly music classified as gothic metal, which he dutifully listened to. Meeting Kanna made Takuji realize with a sense of astonishment just how abundant death and dying, self dying, were as commodified projects in the world. Areas of bookstores he had never paid attention to, and the dark corners of the internet, teemed with this deception of death. Wishing a move to those items had lost all appeal to him. The novelty and shock were replaced by a familiar sense of tedium and surprisingly an emotion akin embarrassment. He felt as if he had become one of two socially inept misfits who could only find refuge on the internet or a smug, pretentious connoisseur of subculture. A banal descent into the ranks of unremarkable. Takuji willingly volunteered to join Kanna in her cat dropping sessions from the apartment. Why? Why would you do that? It was an overwhelming confrontation with death. It felt like death itself. For the first time in ages, an intense exhilaration filled his chest. When the last cat, the eighth one, smashed against the ground, Takuji finally noticed that he was in a state of intense arousal. No normal people are here. There are no normal people here. It was as if, by killing, he had literally absorbed the lives of the cats into himself. There was also an undeniable hint of erotic excitement on Kanna's face. The moonlight illuminated her pale skin, gently tinged with a soft pink, and her entire body seemed to exude a dreamy, intoxicating aura. Takuji reached out and roughly grabbed Kanna's body, pulling her close, pressing his lips into a deep kiss. Kanna's tongue forced in its way into Takuji's mouth, probing and exploring. And in the midst of it all, she begged him to choke her. It was then that Takuji first strangled a... Okay, I think I can read now. So basically, Takuji cut her neck. So now he pressed it against her throat. I think he's talking about the blade. He dragged it sideways. The blade slid cleanly across her skin. A sharp sound rang, air hissing through her open one. In the next moment, blood suddenly burst in a crimson torrent, a hot current of blood, raining down, pouring in onto his face. Like a fountain, blood sprayed as Kanna convulsed. Through the haze of red, Takuji watched and screamed. This isn't a game anymore. This is real now. You're really going to die. 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 Za za za. Za za. Za za za. The blood quickly faded from his vision, as if it had been wiped away. In front of him stood Kanna Tsukishiro, the bright summer sun casting light around her. 1971. What was the name of the murderer who fired a rifle from the rooftop of the University of Texas? You have 10 seconds. Okay, so the etchy part was basically his imagination. I think everyone noticed that. I don't know. I'm just saying. So maybe someone doesn't know. 3 stars. Oh, okay. That's just like saying something. Correct. Kanna Tsukishiro wrapped both hands around her neck and gently swept her back, burying her slender neck. It was a scene he had seen before, a deja vu. But on Kanna's wrist, fresh bandages had been wrapped. Oh! So was the contact they just had a reality? So we don't know if it's a reality or fake. Or did it transition into a delusion somewhere? Takuji felt a chill run down his spine. This was something new. Countless times before, he had drowned in his own delusions, yet even as he sank deeper, he knew he could still find footing. With his toes barely touching the surface, he could gasp for air. The line between reality and delusion had always been hazy, but it had always been there. The barrier, the divide, had been controlled by his own will. But now it was not like that. Without realizing it, he had plunged into the delusion's world. He had stepped too far, the border. between what was real and what was delusion. Is it possible that I'm still in the delusion world? The two made Takuji's leg shake, and he could not stop himself from trembling. Did I maybe go crazy? Are you okay? You've been drifting off a lot lately. Are you still taking the medication I gave you? XXXXX, right? Well, it doesn't matter, but I heard something interesting. Have you ever heard the deaf infirmary? Deaf infirmary? Yes. It used to be an infirmary below the old school building, or more accurately, the one that used to be there. 14 years ago, an accident happened, and the entrance was sealed off the concrete, never be opened again. What's that supposed to be? Just another school ghost story? Or some urban legend? You don't seem the type to buy into this, Kanna. Don't judge me. She furrowed her brow, reaching into her chest pocket, pulling out a memo. Koji Sato, Shingo Inoue, Toshihiko Sugiura, Makoto Nakamura, Noriko Watanabe. Who are they? Names of the people involved in the accident. I found them online. Seriously, you're saying this really happened? Yes. 14 years ago, these 5 students committed a series of self-dying in that infirmary in the old school building. The first was Koji Sato, and the last was Noriko Watanabe. All 5 hung themselves in the infirmary, one after another, with intervals of 4 to 7 days between each. Other than being students at the same school, they reportedly had no connection. Different grades, no shared clubs or activities, and no dying notes. Experts conclude that the first self-die already harbored dying thoughts, being drawn to the infirmary and impulsively ending their lives. It's not an impossible explanation. Essentially, the idea of notorious spot become a convenient excuse for those who are already on the edge. Like the Chuo line on Aokigahara Forest. But I don't think that's it. It had to be infirmary, not the Chuo line or Aokigahara, especially that room. That's what I think. Why? I stumbled onto this story while researching a different one, the Hitodama of the old school building. Hitodama? Takuji found himself unconsciously staring at Kanna's face. What exactly was she trying to say? Takuji wondered. Kanna was not the type to believe paranormal phenomena. She put her faith in corpse murder and the madness of reality. Ghosts, curses, and the like. If anything, she looked down on those who believed in such things, perhaps out of a form of loathing those who were similar to her. Takuji had often heard her dismiss supernatural claims, gleefully dissecting them with psychology and science. That Kanna had researched Hitodama did not surprise him in the least. But how did that connect to dying? The Hitodama rumor had already been circulating at the school 14 years ago. Wait, don't tell me you think that Hitodama were the souls of the students who killed themselves. No, but the 5 who committed did see the Hitodama. Huh? The only thing they all had in common. Before they offed themselves, every single of them claimed to have seen Hitodama. I found a column about the ghost light phenomenon in the school paper from back then. In the witness reports section, all 5 of their names were listed. They all testified that the Hitodama ultimately disappeared into the infirmary, and that the Hitodama were beautiful, not frightening in the least. If anything, watching them felt calming. Makoto Nakamura even said this. I was so moved, I cried. That's strange. Wouldn't most people feel scared if they saw a Hitodama? Wait, what? What is Hitodama? As a Japanese person, I don't even know. Right. A ball of fire should instinctively trigger a sense of caution in humans. If it's something supernatural, even more so. And yet they perceived the Hitodama as something beautiful, something good. Maybe they weren't Hitodama at all. They were some kind of symbol, I think. Symbol? A symbol of something. Something shared among the five of them. They chased after it and ultimately chose to off themselves. So what's Dr. Lecter's analysis? Takuji's sarcastic remark drew a wary smile from Kanna. Perhaps, perhaps a symbol of something like an unwavering pillar. A pillar? Kanna Tsukisho pulled a cigarette from her pocket and placed it between her lips. According to Kanna, smoking was a slow form of attempt. She believed it was important to read books detailing the harmful effects of smoking on the body, preferably those written by particularly militant anti-smoking advocates, and truly understand the consequence of smoking before lighting up. Mindless smoking, she argued, lacked the meaning it held as an act of uh, attempt. So wasn't there something you wanted to ask me? And with that, the conversation of Hitodama ended. Takuchi got to the point. Yeah, didn't we agree that outside the apartment complex we'd act like strangers? That we'd build a wall around our shared space, keep it separate and independent? So why did you call out to me this morning? Did I? Haha, don't look so angry. Answer me. I wanted to expand the world. Expand the world? Exactly. The dream world in what? Encroaching on the real world. You and I were only supposed to uh, have a relationship in Unit 502 of Building 5, only in our shared dream world. But now we've had it in the real world. Doesn't that mean the borders of the dream world have expanded? A collapse of the wall. A conquest of reality through intercourse. Isn't that one way to put it? Ridiculous. Takuji spoke dismissively, but the memory of what he had experienced, the blurring of reality and delusion, the inability to distinguish between the two. The two sent a cold shiver down his spine again. Desperate to shake off that fear, he repeated himself. Ridiculous. Yes, it's ridiculous, right? That's something I said on Halloween. Kanna laughed again. Ha ha ha. And right after, her expression suddenly turned serious. Are you maybe thinking of betrayal? Betrayal? Yes. Betray who? Me. You? Or perhaps my word? Takuji tried to read Kanna's expression, searching for her true intentions. For a brief moment, it seemed like something flickered there, but in the end, he found nothing. Her face held nothing but the usual emptiness, like the depths of a deep, unending well. Goodbye. I'm not going tonight. By the time Takuji realized she was talking about the housing complex, Kanda had already disappeared from the rooftop. A metallic clang echoed behind him as the iron slapped shut. Oh. Okay, well, today we will be finishing here. If you know which endings you want to maybe see first, so wait, let me read first. Takuji wondered what Momiji was doing right now. Takuji felt worried about Samomo's behavior this morning. Takuji simply gazed down on the ground from the rooftop, lost in thought. So, I never finished this official novel, so I'm not very sure. But I feel like there are three endings of Kanna, Momiji, and Samomo. And I'm thinking about going with Samomo ending. And also, uh, spoiler warning, it's only what I saw in YouTube, but uh, everyone's ending is the same. Like everyone's route is the same ending, the same CGs, but with different characters. So if that's true, I'm not going to do every endings. So personally, I'm thinking about doing Samomo's because she's like the main heroine, but I don't think I will be doing others. Well, but just comment and I will like read it and think about it. So thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.